Greetings one and all, and welcome to a video about how to set up your Arduino board for world domination. Physical computing. And I am Eric Dillerman, your host and CS302 coordinator. So the first place I'm going to go is to my trusty old friend Google, and I'm going to type in Arduino IDE. And when I do that, my first link right there will take me to the Arduino page. And here you have a couple options. The first is the Arduino web editor. I don't recommend that one for this particular project. We instead are going to download the Arduino IDE. So depending on your system setup, choose the download link that's appropriate and have at it. When we actually pull open the IDE, this is what we're going to see, and it should look fairly similar to processing in a lot of ways, and that's because this IDE was modeled upon the IDE that's present in processing. So you have your setup at the top that runs one time, and then you have your loop down here that is run multiple times. And we're going to use this IDE in order to push a set of instructions onto the Arduino board, which will help it to communicate with the processing coding language. In the upper left corner there is where we're going to plug in our USB into the Arduino. So make sure they fit, don't jam it, and then plug the other end into your computer. We should be good to go. Now that we have our Arduino board plugged in via USB to our computer, our next step is going to be to go up here to the Tools menu. And we're going to check a couple things. The first is that we are going to make sure that we select the proper board that we're using. So there's a bunch of different Arduino types, and the one that we're going to be using is the Arduino-Genuino Uno, the one. So make sure that that is selected. And the next thing is then to select a port. And sometimes this will select automatically for you, but make sure that once you have that kind of squared away, that port comes up here and that it reads your board when it's plugged into your computer. You can check that also down here in the lower right. It says that it detects an Arduino Uno on COM4. And we will need that COM port when we go into processing in a minute. Our last kind of setup step here is that we are going to load those instructions onto the board. We are lucky we don't have to type them manually ourselves. Somebody, some kind soul out there in the world has already created a set of instructions that we are going to use. So navigate over to the File menu, and we are going to go down to Examples, and then it's a very long menu. I'm going to come all the way down here to where it says Fermata. Fermata is going to be the library that we are going to load into the board, and it will help us to communicate with processing. And the one that we want, there's multiple types of Fermata as well, is we want the standard Fermata. No bells and whistles, we just want the standard Fermata. And when you do that, it's going to load up a whole new window right here, and it's going to have all of the Fermata code. And I can scroll down and you can see there's a lot there. If you're feeling adventurous, see if you can make some sense of it. Our last step is to push this set of instructions to the board, and we do that by clicking this upload. Now ironically the arrow is tilted to the right rather than up. We're going to look past that and we're going to click this button to upload this set of standard Fermata instructions to our microprocessor on the Arduino board. And I press it, and just like in processing, we're going to get some information that comes down here in the console. Right now it's compiling the sketch. That means it's turning all of this human language into machine code, and this should just take a second. Uploading instruction sets to microprocessors is not for those who lack patience. And what we're going to see when it finishes down here, hopefully, is that the sketch has taken up 39% of the program storage space. It's done uploading. Everything should be good. We are now able to communicate with this board. Should you receive an error message at this point, don't be heartbroken. copy down the error code and Google it, and chances are that 500 other people have also had your problem and solved it. By itself, it's nothing fancy. The board won't do anything for us right now, but it will allow us to write code in processing and then be able to interact with it. So that's what we're after. And this is how we flash an Arduino board and get it ready for use. And in our next video, we'll take a look at LEDs. See you then.